I was just trying to clarify on that. The second point about the scientific management, which was developed by Dr. Taylor, is each person's work should be scientifically developed. There is still science there. Not each person. I've already talked about selection, training, and development. Selection, training, and development. Selection, training, and development of workers should be scientifically done. To be scientifically done. Be scientifically done. Selection, training, and development to be scientifically done. Some of these statements are not very correct. But this is what the scientific management approach had in mind. That when you develop people's work scientifically, when you select and train and develop scientifically, then you are doing the right thing. What are they talking about? In this one, they are talking about merit-based selection. Merit-based selection. Now the point is, where is it that merit works? Even in the government, for example, we are expecting to be a chief. You have to have connections. You really need to know someone who can assist you to get the job. In other words, our selection and the training and development should be scientifically done. Meaning there must be a clear, predictable way of employing people. There must be a clear, predictable way, and there must be universality. But I've seen people in my life who have got positions and they were not interviewed. In my interview, I've taken that 2 times. First time we did the interview, we selected one. My bosses said, no, not this one. Can you do it again? We did the shortlisting again, conducted the second round of interviews. We also picked another one. That one was not approved. Until after 3 weeks, I noticed my boss coming in with the head and said, this is the new secretary. Son, I didn't interview not even one. So I said, they have just wasted my time. We conducted it twice, but the one who came to report did not even appear at any of those interviews. So, and that's why scientific management, that is not possible, because pure science will tell you that if you want to recruit people, you have to be scientific. There must be a clear method of employing people. There must be an interview. Police training. There was a time police recruit, and I think the first time they recruited mass recruitment of police officers. 100 of them were removed because one, they did not have an NC, and the 2, they did not meet the other qualifications. Merit, scientifically done, to be a police officer, there are more police officers. I hope I don't get in trouble with them today. Police officers, Damakandi height, that's scientific. If one of them that intelligence, she was in Damakandi specifications, scientifically. For you to become an air hostess, you must also hide. By hiding, I'm a gun on the day. Because I was the owner of Mafunda Mamba. Those air hostesses, those beautiful air hostesses, there is a limit to their height. Because they should be able to open the drawers, they should be able to, but they should not hit the top. That's scientific. But you might have a very short police officer, and our other stuff. So that the production and the performance should be to the standard. Scientific selection and the training and development. I should not study. For example, even myself, if I got an assignment or when I'm I will think of 1, 2, as do I know? 2, can this job be something that I can extend to my students? So you cannot roll out in discretionary education, which these people are scientific and roll out, you know. This is scientific without looking at the human mind. This is a computer act. We think, we know who to select. Otherwise, we would have been having shorter police officers because scientifically there is a minimum height for a police officer. That's what it means. So that's the second point. Our one is to be frequency, there is scientifically done. Selection, training, and development should be scientifically done. They are saying if you do these things, then it means performance will be improved. They are not talking about what about the human factor. The third point and the last one is hierarchical structures of authority. There should be hierarchical structures of authority and close supervision. That's number 3. The last one about scientific management. Number 3 says there should be hierarchical structures. There should be hierarchical structures of authority. There should be hierarchical structures of authority and close supervision. There should be hierarchical structures of authority and close supervision. Now, for the last time, let me also talk about this. This one is like, let's try to translate what selection, training, and development should be scientifically done means merit-based selection. Merit is purely they prescribe, for example, the police officer, if you have to be 1.6 meters, that's merit. But you find another one who is 1.2, still joining the police of service. That is now against merit. Merit means you have, for you to qualify, you must have A, B, C, D. And that is the selection, training, and development to be scientifically done. There is no way you can do it through scientific. I think there is an extent of this one. So this merit-based selection is actually, the author have put it in upgrade and still trying to explain this point. Yeah. Then point number 3 is there should be a hierarchical structure of authority and close supervision. What it is like this. Let's talk about the Ministry of Health. Ministry of Health. There is a minister here. There is a PS here. There is a director here, and there are some directors. The directors can be directors for HIV and AIDS. So many directors, and then here you have perhaps the other members of staff. So you have something like that. Or in any organization, you have the chief executive officer, and below him you might have maybe the finance director, the HR director, and the operations director. And maybe under the finance director you have the accountant accountants, and here you have the accounts personnel under human resource development, human resource department. You may have HR managers, you may have HR officers, and you may have the other what we call support staff. Support staff will be the drivers, the messengers, and the cleaners. And under operations, you may have the sales team, the sales and whatever who are involved in the operations of the organization. If you go to an organization or when you start working, you are being presented something like this. This is what we call hierarchical. Hierarchical. This is what you are going to meet. So, but you see, in actual sense, although it says there should be a hierarchical structure of authority and God's position, this is only possible on paper. That's what I want to say. I'm trying to discredit the classical approach. Why am I not in favor of the classical approach? I'm not in favor of the classical approach because it is not being realistic. People cannot just be placed like this and say they will go to work. You cannot just position people like this and think the performance will be improved. No. You are forgetting that there are relationships and that there are connections among these people. You might take about organization in the national level. Driver, you will move over, you will sign ourselves. We are becoming more influential and more powerful in organizations. And this happens in any organization. You are a scientific guy, you do organization, but one, chief executive officer, you will see his office. For us, what we in the app. They can only app. When that business development manager of the organization, they will tell you on the app. They will see that what you are head of operations. Head of operations will be reporting to the CEO. This is what we mean by structure of authority. In my organization, where do you report? Who do you report to? Because that's what these people prescribe. That's the hierarchical structure of authority. They want to say that there are always rules attached to this position. The minister, human directors, there must be those. So, director our finance, director our HIV and AIDS, director our nutrition, director our food, but you will see, in reality, this person will be later. These things don't work later. This is just from paper. Take it from me. This is just from paper. There were organizations, there are some institutions or departments where I worked, where I found that this person was even more powerful than anyone else. And for things to happen, you really have to go through him. You go to somebody who is because he had strong connections with the station. So there is politics. This is not true. This is not what happens. Scientifically, yes, people have to have levels of authority. People have to be positioned. But realistically, there are certain things that are undercover. The aspect theory. What happens underground is more important. What happens underground is more important. Nilizima kumgia kumezima kwa nchi kwa mali kaburi tibije kunja dimendi ya una watu takao saba na ndijoine nao and ngabezora ndinga basi. Even if I was not qualified, the point is there are some people here who might be here in terms of the hierarchy, because that's what it means by hierarchy, the levels of God. But in reality, and therefore in some zero, who is the one who can use to get things done? There is not that we use those people that are influenced in the organization. Because you might put your request to the finance director. Abana, this one will not be effective. You can go to somebody like this one. Looking at connections, I say that come and suffer you. Within seconds, this thing is happening. So this is not being scientific. We are now being following the humanization. So that's the first part, the first category or subcategory of classical approach. The second one is the bureaucratic approach. And let me quickly talk about it. The bureaucratic approach. That's the subgroup number 2. Don't get confused. Under the classical approach, there are 2 subgroups. The first subgroup is the scientific management. The second is the bureaucratic management. Bureaucratic management. The bureaucratic management was developed by Max Weber. He was a German sociologist, so it was developed by Max Weber. The spelling is Max, it looks like a W, but the pronunciation is Max Weber. He was a German sociologist. Max Weber was a German sociologist. This is the second book about scientific management, about the classical approach. And scientific management is W. Taylor and Max Weber. Upon an organization says the short things can be done, performance and productivity can be improved through scientific approach and not through the human relations approach. Now, the most important thing is, which I would like you to be thinking about, for this zone of the increase production, you have to focus on other factors and not the human factor. If you want to increase production, zone of the conductor okay, drive one minibus young, human pasta salary 60,000. Ama kuelekea drama. Ndizoona kuti mpaka 100,000 ndio unaweza drama zote bila for. Does it always fall like that? This is the question that is very subjective and it is subject to discussion. Should we all believe that when you give more money, then that's the only thing, that you and me are only worried about money? That the more money you get, the more you perform, the more the organization will be assisted. And that there are no other factors related to you apart from giving you more money. This is what happens in particular in organization Agunja. That Mangapo Ichiro Gani organization are we. You are but Africa Invest. In other words, exactly. It changed its name to exactly. That is a UK-based company. I'm the one who initiated and who introduced them to Malawian environment. Now, I'm going conditions of sales. Between Malawi and them in the UK. You are German would pay them handsomely, then I got to near work. So when I drafted my conditions of service, that was 2005. When I drafted conditions of service, the negative issues like funeral policy. Funeral policy meaning when an employee dies, this is what Africa Invest is going to do. We'll buy a coffin, depending on the grade. My standard coffin. Standard coffin, grade. Executive coffin, this grade. Casket, this grade. So you know which coffin you go in, depending on your position. So I did those things and said to them, they completely removed the area funeral policy. And they told me, wow, they don't care about when you die or what happens when you die. So I said, but you cannot do it in Africa. They said, no, we are only employing you when you are alive. Why should we start paying when you are dead again? So what they told me was, okay, just pay them handsome. How much are you going? Okay, if I suggested 100,000 for that position, they would say, give them 250,000. We are ready to pay. Malawi minimum wage and Jan 100,000 if it is up to 250,000. Or it means after that they put it but 250 as a Sungaba coffee. But 250 as one for the transport to take the higher gas. Omazoti there as an organization is going to put a coffee, Umapura Zabuya, Umapura Jan, no. Now, I think money cannot wait in the African context. So I actually looked at them and said, even if you give them 500,000 we still believe that when an employee has died, the company has to do something. So, what we should not forget is that in Africa, what we didn't even agree. They still wanted us to remove. What you know is that as that poor, they are still, they have a lifestyle which we call individualism. But when they we still have what is called collectivism. Something that has happened to me can also affect you. That's what it means. There is collectivism, and that's why there is individualism. That is why they have to hire those that can be moved. Professional monarchs. They have those companies in the state. Also, something that will not be the own monarchs. Those that can be Mariana. So, what I'm trying to say is that I think the classical approach in the you can increase production through scientific methods, or you cannot solely rely on that. There is more to production and performance than just being scientific. You need to have a human heart. So Max Weber, just like F.W. Taylor, believes that these are the main points about the bureaucratic management. Max Weber believes that statistics of the organization, statistics of an organization, statistics of an organization should be allocated as official duties. Be allocated as official duties. Be allocated as official duties among various positions. Among various positions. This is also what I've been saying. Can we really differentiate official and not official? I want to put up a minute. Official meaning I'm acting as a lecturer, or I'm acting as Mr. Mlenga, or I'm acting as boss. A police officer, does he act as a police officer, official? Titles are allocated to him officially and not as I probably say like this one at traffic. You just explain to them, I'm a tough competitor. Umabaliena amina very bureaucratic. Anabuzoroke angalezi jonjo. Dikemo mshika yamba mbele mshika. Wambia alikuwa ni mmoja wa lazima betaka kifungwa katika kale kuti static yake ikale not official. Mtego mngono ndwara kwa sento. Kale mmoja isiwe ibizino. Amadana kama mwenda tibi. Ni mutibezana mutabanga mutibeza bomba mzana kale mmoja. So it's not like them official and unofficial. Just like in the scientific management, Max Weber is saying that there is a way you can differentiate official from unofficial. That I'm acting in my capacity as an officer, or I'm acting in my capacity as a boss. That's the police officer, traffic police officer, who stands on the road. Really remove his personal factor and become an officer on the road. Very strict adherence to the rules and so on. Does the doctor manage his patient purely as the doctor in his official capacity? Do we have these people that are in these various positions Can we really say that this is his position that has acted this way, but this is not his official position? That's what they're saying. So that's what also Max Weber believes in. And he says that bureaucracy is associated with red tape and rigidity. Bureaucracy, bureaucracy, when the Germans have bureaucracy means office, official. Okay. So that's what bureau means only office. We normally use these my bureaus. I'm going to a money bureau, I'm going to this, that's an office. So bureaucracy, according to Max Weber, is associated with red tape and rigidity. Associated with red tape and rigidity. Rigidity means you stick to the rules. Stick to rules. Red tape, follow lines of authority. Follow lines of authority. Bureaucracy, there are no shortcuts. No shortcuts. And there is no flexibility. In other words, there is no discretionary behavior. Bureaucracy is associated with red tape and rigidity. For you to increase productivity or improve performance, you have to be associated with red tape and rigidity. Rules must be followed. Rules must apply. You don't have to break the rules. When the army captain tells his soldiers under him to say, stop, they have to stop. When he says move, they have to move. They are not allowed to ask questions. Maybe because we be sent to my defense forces. Maybe you can use it in the defense forces. Maybe you can use this model, your bureaucracy and scientific management, but particularly your bureaucracy. Because there is red tape in the Malay Defense Force. Red tape. In another training in 2021, I had an opportunity to see the barracks. And I conducted that training in all the barracks. Moyale, Kobe Barracks, Malawi, Armed Forces, Ukalima, Paina, Isopakasungwapo, and then one was barracks. The number of training at that, including the Army Commander. The number of training. That was when I had a contract to train them on 17. They trained me also about one day. Try to move. My woman is around about to come to barracks. I drive and do it in Kobe Barracks or Zomba. But that's not the issue. The most important issue is it's associated with bureaucracy and faith. I identified a lot of things. Even up to now, the government says, I think, and another scientific management, we still have got traces of scientific management in some of them. But there must be a reason. There must be a reason. And they believe in red tape. They believe in red tape. My sons were in the American kind of nine captain, Captain Goma. Captain in the senior leader. Oma and Macdorena for Groga position. So it's my care about it. The way that now in the room where that training. They believe that in the room where unfortunately a position captain, it means that they have to stand. And as I understand, I see let's say it's a stadium. And there is not one thing. My defense force, I'm not going to win the year. They always do that numbers. The why. For example, I couldn't just teach you without knowing the numbers that I use. Because what I was hearing was, they put a captain motor. Then it means, I want to one for many captain, normally 156. Then they said, when I phone and so on, I said, that's what I mean. Anywhere, we are 35, and so on. And sometimes they will also say we are 35, 5 females, and 30 males. and that is the handover for captain. Now, I can't remember handover for captain. I mean, there is an year we do what? Red tape. They will remind all the commands will now come from me. Now, assuming there is a brigadier coming, I can go a brigadier who are home, they will turn up to captain with the dog of seniority. They will write a handover for brigadier. Brigadier, we are 58 here. They will our one of now the brigadier takes control. Now, assuming the brigadier is talking to us and then we are the army command, it means the brigadier will also say, "Run, we are so many." They will leave it to people. So, and they will always say, "Munomo di Mr. Mlenga, who is here for this." In the character job, whoever comes in, they will have to say, "We must soldiers, so we have this gentleman." And that is the way it works. That's what we mean by red tape. That is what can bring productivity and performance. You don't ask the question. When I say that, and I say, so I didn't have to come home and training in the car, they do good morning, and because I'm not a soldier. They need authority from the other people for me, them to say yes to me. So even if I say good morning, they just look at me. Until when I'm very okay, today you feel us training in Mr. Mlenga, you will greet them and say, good morning, sir. They take orders. They can't take orders from me because I'm not a soldier. Then I have to be delegated by a senior officer our appearance because of this. Therefore, I'm doing. And the other time I felt sorry to Kamusi Barracks. And I'm going to brigadier and then my driver was very senior. And I'm going to who was with me. And we I said, you guys come and sit on the floor. Tell me what's at the back. Wake up with the floor. I was just standing there on the back. That's the way. And we don't have to ask why. Because that's red tape and legit. That's what I'm so. The point is, you might get it down as roll up. Do you think, in other words, I'm a power muntu, Usiligai, I'm a power muntu, I'm a Funamara Gachito. Maybe because of one in what organizations can bureaucracy work? One of them is the life principles. The other problem is that the moment you are subscribing to this red tape and rigidity, you become brainwashed. The fact my Islamic jihad, my Qaeda, my Taliban, training now in Makara, very bureaucratic. The fact understanding. You have to 30 years of when you use what we call suicide bomber, when you kill yourself in a group. Let's say over 50, you should know that the 50 minutes you got to therefore, we want to enjoy more 150. That is why these people are so courageous to take a bomb and go to the market and detonate it and it explodes. They know they are dying, but they want to die with 100 or plus people. Because the belief is you take to heaven those 100 spirits you have died. You are going to enjoy life for 100 people. So if you go alone, you die there. You still have to go into 1,000 people. So I don't go there. You have to talk about my way. You can't different things. The man will say, can't you see that is the type of brainwash of being programmed? The last important point about the bureaucratic according to Max Weber is it aims at introducing order and rationality in social life. Aims at introducing order, introduces order and rationality. Order and rationality in social life. It produces order and rationality in social life. Maybe, if we had decided, we would have more time for discussion. What they are saying is the use of authority, the use of being rigid, brings in order and rationality in social life, because then people behave. People will behave orderly. When you have rules and regulations, when you have regulations, they will give them a color. I remember one time when I was at the Fanta would be my Morvan. They would be the moment that I got more than a passenger 5 hours and a passenger 4. So I'm going to put about what they're saying is when you have such type of rules and rigidity, they bring some sort of order in social life. That's why we are about the transporting exceeding capacity. However, I mean, I will let my time for one of the 12 to get to the exceeding capacity. That's why I'm exceeding capacity. So that's why I want to do a traffic was one of them going to one of them will get after that. Because I walk up with Malamu. So back on the equity, Malamu don't think as one. I don't think we Malamu as a kind number one, which is to be able for an organization to perform, for an organization to be productive. You cannot start just rely on scientific application of rules. You have also got to look at the human relations and the Nufuna Nimalize the band is about 20 minutes to go, much 20 minutes to say, not the other one. I will not have time to write after the classical approach, my greatest weakness is that classical approach I will just get them. This is now an evaluation of classical approach, whether it is scientific or bureaucratic. The evaluation to evaluate means to judge its credibility. One, this approach does not take into account social factors. That's the first. The classical approach does not take into account social factors. And number two, people have control in organizations. People have control in organizations. And therefore, rules can be changed. People have control in organizations and therefore rules can be changed. And by the way, that is why you don't know the defense force uniform or police uniform. What is the meaning of uniform? Uniform means we are the same. But I'm sure we are the same. We know the individual differences. So wherever actually we are no uniform, we must together put it for fun. Which is also another problem because we have done the individual. So the uniform in such institutions or organizations is a symbol of saying there is uniformity. There is uniformity in treatment. There is uniformity in the application of rules and lines of authority. So basically those are some of the observations on the scientific management. Did I talk about scientific management? I think it's not what I said about human relations. Those are the most important ones. You have to add it in. But human relations, I said, there is attention to social factors at work. See, the human relations is another approach. Organizational behavior. It's another, we have got several theories which we will not have time to go through. But the human relations is a shift from scientific management. The human relations approach is saying we have to pay attention to social factors. Muntu amadwala. into amakhandi zokufuna ifake mugamanga zilanchiro akakuza ukuthi salary yangi masumulandira housing allowance because ufuna ukuthi mukakhale nabantu muzikakhala umsinyamuka kumabuza kubangaleni so kumakhala housing kumakhala mina kubereka transport mina mabereka ka fuel ngati muli ndani moto ma organization ngati Irovo, and it's nice to work with Irovo lwangu and njala everywhere is not cheap from on assignment. These are some of the best organizations in Malawi where social factors are concerned. And talking about my company that are minimum. Even in dramas, the number and the assumptions of value. How much of value is minimum of this area of drama? One grandchild of Irovo, and last year is also based on your position. The more senior you are, the more complicated and effective the minister. That's what they do. There is a hospital there, there is a clinic. So school is like in the garden, it's like a cafeteria hotel. Also the grow a kitchen, Congo Karanyemba, you can when I'm saying I meaning of what I want to office, roasted, plastic, only the company did. Anamu azika kuzisira kwa musakadami. Kumapita kwa basi, wali mwisho mwenye gari moto kumwanzo kasi ya kubatenga. If you look at the case study of Jawan Wang, the case study of human relations, you are just for production to improve. It's not the rule, it is the people that you are using. Then, you see, my organization that I'm in, so I'm saying, but my organization that I'm in, human relations, that they also and pajamas to control. For example, you also say just this. Another school about Bishop Mackenzie, what you were sure not to be. I open self on Musakadam. I'll make a just was here despite you have political Gallimon. I go back to Gallimon, a company over the fuel. When you get sick, they can even take you to India for treatment. When this happens, it's not the amount you are getting at the end of the month. Another scientific manager would just pay him, that's okay. No. There is a human resource because they are social factors. Mukuma kuna zamini kuchiru. Ndeti kezodi uburanjira zonsezo ndi asamina namba kukakira kuchira uchira makala gaza hapo. Mungu nisikuno leo damu uko kundiwa kuchira. Mufuna kisiye kuranjira zabu inongazimina inudumubira kuchiru. So finally, because of that, there is control. They are more than just getting paid. Let me tell you, in your stage, that's not false. Don't be scientific. It's not money that will make you stick. It is these other factors. Check what is happening at school. And they spend more on these factors than on the pay. Maybe for treatment, police officers, but school, primary, right inside the campus, my state, I go to the school, playground, and so on. And I just stand now we find out the expenditure is more than my wages. Because they have looked at the human relation. It's not just a question of giving me 30,000 and think that I'm okay. There are other social factors. So human relations, if you stand scientific, it's safety. Now, in your music for business young, could business young be endeavoring? Could you move a profit and be? Is it a question of just increasing the number of minibuses from 10 to 20? Or is it the way your drivers are handled? Because of that minibus 10, you have 15, you have they would have forgotten the human relation. So what I say is that attention is to social factors at work, and you also have to look at groups and leadership. Human relations, I mentioned those key words. Groups and leadership. Groups are very important. Leadership is very important. And from now everything rises and falls on leadership. John Maxwell. Jesus might rise and fall on leadership. And I also say something about the informal organization. The informal organization is very important in human relations. We should realize that they are informal organizations. And it's because of one of it is all. You see, for example, you are a student here. From a customer informal organization. This is very important to understand the informal organization. In the lecture, take a problem, my lectures of the informal organization. I don't want to see informal organization is very powerful in your organization. This is what human relations do. Similar to the informal organization. I remember last week, and I think it was Monday, the current meeting Friday, last Friday, from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Informal organization, when I asked, so it was like Monday, message was around to meet for a meeting from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And they said by Wednesday, I mean, I still confused. None including myself. No one. Because the woman is not going to be what is this for? Sabe kuzo tunzajana samango titeka kati ati informo tima kulana zambi baba tima kafi tima masuka kuna kuseja sinzaka ndesi kakula kulana zokula twa sabwera kulani ndeba na nambo bera kamisi jigena sa Wednesday mazokuroke amina za kare kwa danja ka drama ko bwana mwako tuga transport na bila ya so you know what we are drive performance, I don't know. But the moment that was mentioned, you find all of us were there on Friday. But we are not there for the meeting, we are there for so human relations in the we focus on like this. If you want to reach high levels of production, you can focus on that's the difference. Systems, not very difficult. I just want to end that. Systems, because I will come back to this next week. I'll start on roles and topics. Systems, you will never put it. The way an organization operates is like a system. There is a lot of interdependence. So that's why when you have individuals, they should work like a system. If you look at this is the way my primary school teacher was drawing the first one. Can you see what this is a system? The head, you have the eyes and the ears, every part relies on the other. Ungo brother issue. What's the way of school is? Because it's a system. When I tell you of school before you have this or that, there is only my end. You know what I understand? Following the system, Chigango brother is means the rest. Kuba Yanga is your satay of where the happens to be. Umamawa Blanco, Master of Tabu. That's the system. So our systems is they are saying there must be a lot of coordination. Systems are approached, there must be a lot of coordination in the behavior. My individual behavior and organizations used to be coordinating them. Because the moment one part is sick, the rest of the organization fails to operate. That's what the system is saying. Contingency, the last one. Contingency is sometimes we try to get to organizational behavior. How do I understand the scientific human just put in rules and regulations you wait. Human relations is saying they are social factors. No matter how much you pay somebody, that's considered a social factor. The systems is saying no, there must be a lot of coordination. We don't say we have to carry in talking terms. So that we got to run and take an attack, but the carry systems. What we are going to do is that we are going to be cutting. There will be a lot of things that will happen. Can we business we need to show there are a lot of things that we are named from systems. Because we should manage people like a system. Here we are lecturers, we have the trainers, we have the management, we have other staff. We might talk this on regulation systems. Saturday the class, the 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, still not once again. For normally, we are waiting until Saturday class, we can get the system. So Saturday, let's go. I think 10 minutes to 7 hours here. But because of systems, I found that stuff from everything was there, it was locked. And the one who said keys was still at home. Systems support. So I had just hit a blank hole. Nazungulira kushantima kuzungulira kuteri maki kulibe. Ndakakhala kumaki kulibe mpaka na 5 minutes to 8. Class kwamba 8 o'clock. And everything was done. That's when I realized this is systems approach, coordination. You work like a body. So their part is important. The one with the keys is important. The one who has access to the classroom is important. That's systems approach. So what we are learning from systems approach is that you learn, you coordinate, you need coordination. Behavior has to be coordinated. The last one, contingency. Contingency, I'm going to also put something like standby. Something like reserve. Contingency in English, when you teach of contingency. Contingency, much times in your movie of Blantyre, let's say it's 10,000, Upina Nuera, 26,000. In Wayne, Upina Nuera, 26,000 twice. Or may know, Obertan drama was Obertan 40,000. I've never 40,000 days, young contingency. Contingency means you could take out the bus and break down the chill. So now we take like this taking you in your way. After the contingency, contingency, that's in case of trust, one goes and glass, that's contingency. So some person will exactly 26,000, that's something has happened. Because the castle of Brother, you have one of my no man to them for the phone and movie, so we have a contingency. Now, in this one, in organizational behavior, contingency approach, even now, there is no, and that's the main thing, no best. There is no best way to manage people. There is no best way to manage people. But you can't prescribe in the scientific management. You can't predict. There is no universality. There is no best way to manage people. Teaching at this university, I have quite a good number of students. There's one thing I like about your group. That we travel for about 2-3 months elsewhere. Whereby, the moment you start speaking, there is a lot of noise. You see, so there is no one best way. To the extent that I had to use the bureaucratic thing, I said, okay, the moment you are late by 10 minutes, don't attend my class. Now it was slowly that they started to comply with that. And yet the numbers were not as big as you are. I had about 15 or 10 students or 10, but very noisy 10 students. You see? So our contingent I will consider you to modes which you should take about behavior. I put in, we give a manager and and there is no one rule, this is the way you manage people. There is no one best way. You manage people differently. So if you replace your cashier by another cashier, management will be different. I have tried to go through. The remaining information you can check Unit 3 on the portal. You have to go to maybe what I cannot have time to do. Because next week I'll start on the roles and office. And how you can use those in terms of understanding people's behavior. Yeah, we meet next week. I hope next week we will be able
Somebody come.